And once we have the backup or the system repair disk, you can use those when you use the install media, and you don't have to go through the installation process for these. But that's a basic, how do you back it up, where can you back it up to? You have to have the storage space. If we want something that is mobile, something that plugs in, flash drives, DVD writers, those things can all be used, but tape is not one of the options unless they actually change that in the near future, which is, I haven't seen anything that would imply that they're going to. Click through the remainder of these, and I think the rest of it is mostly about file backup. The difference between backup and the RAID system is RAID's redundancy allows you to keep running. Backup should be off-site, allow you to recover from true disasters. Not just our hard drive failed or something like that, but somebody turned on the sprinkler system or you had an electrical storm or whatever else, so that you can restore the data. The advanced boot options, you've probably seen these. This is what the menu is going to look like if you use theirs. Repair your computer. If you do that, you need the repair disks. You need to have the repair disk. Safe mode with networking, safe mode with command prompt. Sometimes you need to go to safe mode with command prompt to actually get rid of stuff. All these other things are going to open some other files. Enable boot logging, what happens, and that's, if you really want to see a confusing log, try that one, because it logs everything that happens in the boot process, success and not success, but it's going to show you what's loading and what's not loading. Low resolution, if you have a video problem. Last known good configuration. The last known good configuration can be handy if you've made changes. There are two ways to undo stuff. One, you can go into safe mode and you put a driver in, and you put a video driver in and your screen goes blank. Now what? So you're going to roll back the driver while the screen's blank. You're going to have trouble rolling back the driver if you can't see what's going on. You could go into safe mode, which wouldn't load the video driver, and roll it back, or you could use the last known good configuration. If you want to do these things, last known good configuration is the configuration that was in the registry the last time that you logged on. The last thing that happens when you successfully log on to a machine is that a clone set of registry keys is saved into the registry and in the last known good area, so that if you need to use that, you can get there, you can get your last registry configuration in there. Safe mode, and this just goes through those different areas, which you may or may not have done. To me, the last known good configuration is one of the more handy ones because it saves you a couple of steps. And if you ever take Microsoft, one of their favorite questions is to give you several answers that are correct, but ask you which one requires the least administrative effort. Well, if you got a bad driver and you just need to do that rollback, the least administrative effort is going to be the last known good configuration. A lot of people jump on the safe mode and undo it, yes, but that's going to take more information. System restore. System restore is the ability to go back again in the registry to a point in time. You can turn those on, you can turn those off. It can be handy if you get a corruption there and you don't have the restore disk and all those other things. But and you notice when a lot of software installs, what is the first thing that you see? It says creating a restore point so that if it has a problem, you can go back. It doesn't take the files off, but it changes the registry entries back.
Can that be accessed from safe mode through the command line?
Should be able to, or you can use restore mode, or you can use system restore from the boot media also. Snapshot, the system restore, the different ones. The device driver rollback, this allows you to roll back one driver. If you put a driver on and it's not working, you can roll it back. Go back to the previous one. Can we jump ahead to several slides to the DiagNostics Diagnostics? There is a diag.exe test file that will look at that, and the DirectX, all part of the video, obviously. Video is probably the most difficult thing when you go from one to the other when you do Windows. The boot process, not a whole lot different until you get to the new BIOSes down here, the UEFI BIOS is the new standard for the startup process. This is one of the things that's going to allow you to use the advanced capabilities of these things. They have, in the boot manager, the boot process changed, or the files changed substantially. The process here, in order to edit the process, the BCD edit command, and if you take a look at that, just take a look at it just to see what it is. You really need to be careful when you go in there because it's not as straightforward as it was in the older versions where you could actually edit the boot.ini file with a text editor. This is a text editor, but it's a special text editor that's going to do that. Back up all these things before you try to make changes to them, and this is, I think, in the book, just a flow chart of the boot process itself. The summary, the tools, the big thing that I think you need to take away from this one, the process, whatever you use, you're going to use your own process, but how to do backups, what you can back up to, where you're going to store the backup when you make it. Don't do like some people do and store it right there in the same room. Nobody does that, right? Seen it happen too many times. Do you need it? Maybe. And the reason that they do that is if you need it, you want to restore something that's right there. Not necessarily a good idea, because if you have one of those real crises, then everything is going to go away at the same time. The next chapter is 13, which is enterprise computing. You're going to get enterprise computing when we do the server course, when we do the infrastructure course, when we do the Active Directory course. I'm going to shorten up the labs in that one for you substantially, and I'm going to show you how to do the one lab. I just want you to know how to do this. What I want you to do is join your machine to a domain. When you do that, it becomes absolutely critical that we get DNS correct. What I've got is the server here, which is a domain controller, and you can see the domain is Win7Night, and its IP address should be 192.168.1.10, and it has Active Directory running on it. The tools, the domains, and those sorts of things are up here. The other thing that it has running on it is DNS, where it identifies itself and identifies the domain. What I want to do, see if I can make a fool out of myself here, is go in and make these changes. What I need to do is go into the Network and Sharing Center and go to Change Adapter Settings and look at my adapter here, because if I look at my configuration, I guess I should look at that first. If we look at an IP config, the DNS server is 10.60.1.4, which is not the one that's going to be able to find that domain. So we can try. Let's try pingwin7 night night dot local. The dot local is normally used, and I guess I should go back here. It says could not find the host. So let's see if we can go in here and in the properties of this thing, just change the DNS server. You can change the IP addressing and the DNS addressing separately. So 192.168.1, got a little ahead of myself, 1.10 hopefully is going to do something here. Now then, if I go back, should I be able to ping that address?
Yes.
I can now ping it. So I should now be able to join that domain. When you join the domain, it's a matter of going into the properties here of the machine itself, and we're going to go in and change the settings. This is also where you would go in to change the computer name, right? Some people on the test changed the description. The first thing that comes up here is the computer description. If you change it, you change the computer description. If you want to change the name, you have to go down here and click on the change, and you actually change the name of the system itself. If I go down here, change, I can change the computer name as well as go from a work group to a domain. So the domain was Win7night, right? .local, and again the .local is used in Active Directory in a manner similar to the way we use private IP addresses on the private networks. So with any luck, if I spelled it right, Win7night.local, and in OK, it's going to ask me to log in, administrator, with a capital P password 1 should get us there. So it at least found it. Attempting to log in, it couldn't log in. Why do you think it had a login failure? I didn't specify the domain, did I? And you notice that when you don't specify the domain that's down here that it tries to send is whatever the local computer name is, or if you're in a domain, whatever domain you're in. Either I spelled password 1 wrong. When you have to specify the domain, now I'm in there. When you have to specify the domain, you really do, and it has to restart. It says before you restart, close everything and restart now. When it restarts, it should join that domain. So for Chapter 13, yes, take a look at it. All that other stuff, the OUs and those sorts of things we'll do in the server class. You'll install Active Directory, you'll install the servers, and I think that's where Trevor was. Says he needs a new machine. At first they said, I think the first lab is install a domain controller. We're not going to do that. The only thing I want you to do in that, take a look at what enterprise computing is about, but the only activity that I want you to do is to join that domain. Are there questions about that one?